I look forward to working with him to urge the Mayor to properly consider and respond to all these views and stop this unfair tax.
Well, joining me to discuss all of that is Oliver Lord, head of the Clean Cities campaign in the United Kingdom. The big point the Prime Minister was making there yesterday is this is not wanted or desired by the boroughs on the outer ring of the London donut. Doesn't the PM have a point?
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's getting quite political argy-bargy now, I think, because obviously it's getting into a different heartland of London that is up against the Mayor. But I think the Mayor's absolutely right to be expanding this because of the impact that air pollution is having on people's health. And
well, that's all well and good. But if you live where I live, on top of the North Downs, literally on the border of Kent, and what is now, it wasn't until the 1960s, but is now Greater London, it is a rural area. There are narrow roads where only one car can go down. There are no issues. I mean, you know, Khan talks about air pollution, climate change and congestion. We have no congestion. We have almost no air pollution whatsoever. I get it in the centre of London, but even the expansion of ULEZ that came out to the north and south circulars. I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it, that Imperial College's own study, you know, they say changes in air pollution varied quite significantly since 2019. At some sites, pollution actually worsened. So a lot of this has to do with wind direction, prevailing winds. I mean, do you honestly think, and I'm asking, I really want an honest answer to this, do you honestly think that expanding out to the rural edges of some of these boroughs is going to make any difference at all?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the city is full of horrible diesel fumes, and you know that's what we've got to get rid of. The city. That's what our campaign's all about. We've got this vision to actually eventually phase out the combustion engine in cities, and that's public health policy. Really,
well, I mean, I'll come to that, but I mean, for now, the point is that this will rake in an estimated £385,000 a day. Khan has said poor people don't drive. That is utter rubbish, because if you live out in the outer reaches of the boroughs all around London, if you haven't got a car, you're knackered, frankly. So disproportionately, those on lower incomes, low fixed incomes, whatever it is, are spending a lot on cars. I mean, I've got a friend of mine. It's going to cost her £12.50 to go and buy the newspapers every day. She can't afford a new car that's ULEZ compliant. It seems to me this is going to hit the poor.
Well, I mean, part of the issue that we're facing is people are trapped in these car-dependent lifestyles, right? And when you look at the statistics, actually a quarter of all car journeys in England are under 2 miles. So I think the question here is whether we actually have to use the car all the time. So if you're in London, for example, half of all car trips could actually be cycled in around 10 minutes, which is one example of the change that we need to see.
I understand the logic of the argument about fumes in central, built-up, busy London. What I'm saying is ULEZ extension is going to bring no environmental benefit whatsoever and hurt the poor, and has no democratic support. And we've learned this week that Khan literally binned 5,200 objections that were put into this, and he ruled them invalid. I mean, there is no level at which this has genuine democratic support, and we are beginning to see some real pushback to this. We've got Hillingdon, we've got Bexley, we've got Bromley, and they're questioning the legal legitimacy of TfL, Transport for London, to put these cameras up. Sutton, interestingly, Lib Dem controlled. By the way, folks, the Lib Dems voted for the ULEZ extension in the Assembly, but now they're just saying we're not going to have this at all.
I was quite flummoxed by that one, to be honest. I mean, with those boroughs that you just mentioned...
What I'm saying to you is this. There has not been a proper democratic engagement with the people who would be directly affected by this. And it isn't just those that live on the edge, it's businesses. You know, they could be in Hertfordshire, anywhere, Essex, anywhere around London. You know, businesses with vans. Again, you're taxing business. You're not going to stop. I mean, you're not going to stop car journeys doing this. And it has no. My point to you, really, Oliver, is it has no democratic mandate.
Well, I don't think that's true, because there's just been a massive public consultation on it. I mean, the campaign group that you talked about in this whole argy-bargy
public
about
consultation. So why ditch 5,200 objections?
So it didn't just ditch that. It's not actually been ditched. They've been treated as a campaign response. And actually, there was 4 other campaigns that aren't mentioned by Fair Fuel who are actually for the ULEZ expansion, and they were also treated as campaign responses. So I think going back to my point,
I don't know whether you're right on that, but I take what you say.